As you jump into your Dynasty rookie drafts, I'm bringing you 10 players that I personally refuse to leave any draft without, and I'm going to split it into 3 categories. We're going to talk about some rounds 2 to 3 sleepers to begin. Then we're going to go to guys that I am absolutely bullish on, and then we are going to go to ideal targets for our rebuilders and our one-year punters. All right, let's start with those guys that are kind of sleepers, round 2, round 3 for me that I'm targeting in every draft. Starting off with one of my guys this year, Jalen Knoll. Let me be very clear. This does not mean that I am anti-Jaden Higgins. I just believe that Knoll is going to be far cheaper in your rookie drafts, so I'm going to encourage you to go out there and target. Let's not dance around it. We're all about transparency and honesty on this channel. The reality is a round 3 wide receivers hit rate is not very high. We're talking 21.7%. However, this player is going to be widely available in round 3 of your rookie drafts. In some of your drafts, he's going to fall to round 4. I mean, I've seen that in some mock drafts we've already been doing on the channel, and he is the perfect target to be drafting in these rounds 3 and 4 of your drafts, okay? Don't forget, guys, that this time last year, take a time machine with me, all right? You're in 25, but let's just go back one offseason to 2024, okay? This time last year, every single person in Dynasty and in fantasy football wanted the wide receiver 3 on the Houston Texans, okay? In fact, this team had 3 wide receivers in the top 30 of 2024 redraft ADP. And on average, the Texans' big 3, which at that time was Collins, Diggs, and Dell, they were all gone by round 6, okay? And now there are plenty of opportunities available for multiple wide receivers to eat in H-Town. Houston is top 10 in vacated targets available to the wide receiver position heading into 2025 with 94. Now, that might not seem like much, but I want to remind you guys that this is not accounting, those 94 targets is not accounting for the targets that will open up from Tank Dell's injury, all right? This is just guys who have left the team. So if you consider that, Tank Dell is not going to play in 2025, that has already been reported. His 81 targets are also up for grab. He played just 14 games, 81 targets. If you add that to the original total that we talked about, you're looking at 175 targets available from the wide receiver position, which would be good for 3rd highest amongst the NFL in vacated targets. Only the Rams and the Seahawks would have more. And if we look at my rookie report here, I compared Jalen Knoll to 2 names in particular all offseason, Josh Downs, Darnell Mooney. Think about this for a second. 2 guys that did not go in the 1st or 2nd rounds of their NFL drafts, okay? Josh Downs was a round 3 pick. Darnell Mooney was a round 5 pick. However, both are talented players that just produce when you give them some targets. And I think Jalen Knoll is going to force the Texans to give him some targets in that offense. Don't sleep on him, all right? At number 2, all right, the big boy, all right, Cam Skattebo. We are not going to leave our drafts without Mr. Cam Skattebo. Let's be honest. Again, I'm all about transparency, all right? I'm laying all my cards on the table for y'all, all right? Let's be honest. The hit rate for a round 4 running back, not kind. It is 24%. However, you can take some solace in the fact that he was an early 4th round. So it's kind of like, you know, do we look at that round 3 hit rate, that round 4? Well, the numbers say he's round 4, so 24% hit rate. However, there will be plenty of opportunities in New York, in my humble opinion. You might not agree, but let me just tell you why, okay? Don't forget, Tyrone Tracy was skating on thin ice last year with his fumbling issues. We all love Tyrone Tracy. I love Tyrone Tracy. If you have him, you love him. But you also recognize, man, can you hold on to the damn football? Because you're starting to lose the trust of this coaching staff. He was tied for 3rd in fumbles amongst running backs with 5. Okay, only Breece Hall and Ramondre Stevenson had more, and Ramondre just lost his job, and Breece Hall, they're talking about a split backfield. Anyway, and think about this, Tyrone Tracy didn't even start the entire year, still top 3 in total fumbles this year. I love Tracy just as much as the next guy, but I do not believe that anyone has a stronghold on this backfield, including Cam, obviously. It's a free game, and Cam's going to have a chance to win that job, and I wholeheartedly believe that Cam is a very good prospect. I really do. I know he fell to round 4, but I think he's a great prospect. He was 2nd in PFF grade last year with a 94.6 grade. He forced the 2nd most missed tackles in 2024 with 102, only behind Ashton Jeanty. And in the last decade of college football, shout out to Ian Hartitz, okay? He says he's top 3 in this category, right? With missed tackles forced in a single season. You can see it's up there. The top 3 guys in the past decade, Ashton Jeanty, Bijan Robinson, and Mr. Cam Skattebo, all right? This guy is constantly churning. and turning lemons into lemonade. We keep saying it. The co-president of the Lemons to Lemonade team. Don't forget, when this guy gets an opportunity, he's going to make the most of it. That's what you want to see with one of these late round guys. He has excellent vision. And last thing here for him is he's a huge receiving threat. I mean, Arizona State was lining this guy up out wide as a receiver in the slot, and he was second in receiving yards amongst all running backs in college football last year. He put up 44 receptions, 543 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. Scat could be the next great outlier, and I will be drafting him in my dynasty teams. All right, at number 3, another my guy for me. All right, actually, it's been straight my guy so far, but Kyle Williams. All right, where's our Washington State fans out there? I could not have thought up a better landing spot for Kyle Williams. He joins a team that is desperate, just absolutely desperate. They are panicking Skywalker over there for someone to make an impact at the wide receiver position. Last year, the leading receiver on the New England Patriots was not a receiver. It was a tight end. Hunter Henry led this team in receiving yards. And if you look at their top 3 wide receivers in total receiving yards last year, it was Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, and Kendrick Bourne. Here's where those wide receivers rank amongst the entirety of the NFL in total receiving yards. Y'all ready for this? Okay, Demario Douglas, 49th in receiving yards amongst wide receivers. Kayshon Boutte, 56th, and Kendrick Bourne, 99th. Stephon Diggs is there. We all know that. He's obviously going to be the wide receiver 1 on this team from day 1, but there is more than enough room when you look at this depth chart for a Kyle Williams to step in and make an impact, all right? My comp for him through this pre-draft process was Jaden Reed, his new offensive coordinator. Think about this. The way Jaden Reed was used in Green Bay, think about his new offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. He's come back to New England. Who did Josh McDaniels love using in his offenses in the last 3 or 4 years? It was Jacoby Myers. In 2023, Jacoby Myers had 106 targets with the Raiders. In 2021, he had 126 targets with the New England Patriots. Do not sleep on a Kyle Williams. All right, probably my guy is the next guy we're going to talk about here, and I'm obsessed with his situation. That is Mr. Jack Besh. Where the Besh Bros at? All right, let me know in the comment section if you're with me. All right, I'm going to read out some names. You guys are ready for this? I want you to take a seat. If you're standing anywhere, if you're on a public train and you're watching this, just sit down. All right, I want you to buckle up. Are you guys ready for this? I'm going to read out the names of the Raiders wide receivers before the NFL draft. Are you ready for this? Here's some names on their depth chart. Christian Wilkerson, Shedrick Jackson, Tyreek McAllister, Alex Bachman. I am convinced to the absolute depths of my soul that these are Madden-generated players. You cannot convince me that these are real people. I'm sorry. I have never heard of those names in my life. Also, round 2 hit rate, it's worth taking a shot on, right? He went mid to late round 2, 32.1% for our round 2 wide receivers. We've seen plenty of guys in round 2 make an impact from day 1. Last year it was Ladd McConkey. Granted, it was early for Ladd McConkey. In 2023, it was Jaden Reed and Rashee Rice. In 2022, Pickens. In 2020, we had T. Higgins and Michael Pittman. In 2019, we had A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. So while the hit rate is what it is, there is still plenty of upside with a Jack Besh. And full transparency, yes, I've been obsessed with him all offseason, so there might be some bias here, but I can't help but talk my guy up. All right, here are some things that Pete Carroll's going to fall in love with about Mr. Jack Besh. The 1.6% drop rate. These magnetic hands. Geno Smith is going to find this guy early, and he's going to fall in love. He is all effort every play, and as a blocker too, which is going to get him on the field day 1 in this offense. He's a big physical body that dominates zone coverage. He just got that dog. You know, some people, you say, oh, he's a dog. That's what you're saying when you watch Mr. Jack Besh. That's the mentality that he carries. My play style comps, it was hard to find a pro comp for him, but my play style comps, the way he plays the game, is like Puka Nacua and Robert Woods. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be as good as those players, but I definitely see a realistic pathway to a Robert Woods career for him. And if anyone, I'm saying this right now, okay, if anyone's going to be a surprise production monster this year, I believe Jack Besh is in play for that title. If you want an in-depth breakdown of your team with customized trade targets, players to buy, sell, hold, then get your team playbook today by either becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND or by going directly to the Flock store, regardless of what promo code you're on. And if you want it done live, make sure you get the live tier. Those links are in the pinned comment. Let's talk about ideal targets for our one-year punters and our rebuilders. Last year on this channel, I was asking you, begging you, can you please, if you're in this position, 1 year punt, rebuild, can you please draft Michael Penix in the second round? I'm begging you. Can you please go get Michael Penix in the second round? And that worked out for you guys. So here are 3 guys you want to target if you're in that position this year. Number 1, Jackson Dart. Hit rate on a round 1 quarterback, 62%. But let's get more specific and let's be honest here. When you look at round 1 quarterbacks that were drafted from pick 20 onwards, it goes to about a 33% hit rate. Here are the quarterbacks in the last, I think, 11 years, okay? Kenny Pickett, Jordan Love, Lamar Jackson, Paxton Lynch, Teddy Bridgewater, and Johnny Manziel. What do you notice about the 2 guys there that actually hit? Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson. Well, what I notice about them is, number 1, they went to a good organization. Can't say that about the Giants. But number 2, they did not have to play day 1. There was 0 pressure for them to play day 1. Lamar Jackson joined a team that already had a Super Bowl champion, Joe Flacco. Okay? And Jordan Love joined a team that had a Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers. When you look at the situation Dart is stepping into, a quarterback room that would indicate to us he's going to sit the majority, if not all, of his year 1. You've got Russell Wilson there, Jameis Winston, right? I mean, between those 2 guys in Dart, there is no pressure for him to start straight away. He's going to be able to learn behind these guys for the entirety of the season. I mean, those other quarterbacks that were late first round hits, like we said, Lamar Jackson and Jordan Love, they got to be in a very similar position. And don't forget that Dart now, New York doesn't look that bad because we have a generational wide receiver to grow with long term. Here is a list. You ready for this? Here's a list of the wide receivers in the last 25 years who in their rookie season had 90 receptions, 125 targets, and 1,200 receiving yards. Here's a list. You ready? Anquan Bolden, Odell Beckham Jr., Puka Nacua, and Mr. Malik Neighbors. This is the type of wide receiver that elevates a quarterback to a new level. And lastly, he's with an offensive-minded coach that can mold him to exactly what he wants to be. This can be, his Mona Lisa, all right? His statue. What's that? Is it the statue of David? Is that the one? I don't know, okay? But this is the type of player that he can actually mold. Think about it. Since Brian Daboll has been the head coach of the Giants, has he had a shot to do this? He hasn't. This has been his starting quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor, Drew Lock. Be patient, and you will thank yourself in 2026 offseason with Jackson Dart. Number 2, another guy I am targeting everywhere on these 1 year punts, Emeka Egbuka. I'm begging y'all right now. Remember that this is Dynasty football. You do not need to draft like you were in a redraft league. In most draft classes, you will never have a chance to have the opportunity to draft Emeka Egbuka in the second round of some of your rookie drafts. And we have this first round hit rate to rely on historically, 53.1%. I totally understand that if you just look at this and you look at the depth chart, you're like, wow, how is he going to get targets? There's Evans, there's Godwin, there's McMillan. But keep in mind, Mike Evans is on the last year of his contract. Mike Evans will be 32 in season. Chris Godwin will be 29 coming off a major injury. If Mike Evans alone moves on from this team next year, Egbuka's value will skyrocket the same way that Ricky Pearsall's value skyrocketed this offseason. If anybody knows how to produce with a crowded wide receiver room, it's Emeka Egbuka. Emeka Egbuka is the president of producing in crowded wide receiver rooms. Here's a list of wide receivers he played alongside at Ohio State. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jamison Williams, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison, Jeremiah Smith, and he still set records at Ohio State. Number 1 in receiving yards, number 1 in receptions. Be patient and play Dynasty football. All right, number 3, another name. Got to be patient on Luther Burden, okay? Yes, the room is crowded. No one's going to sit here and debate and tell you, well, he's going to get 130 targets in year 1. No one's saying that. But Ben Johnson made it very clear how he's going to run things in Chicago. Look at this screenshot. You can pause and read the whole thing, but just a quick synopsis here. Ben Johnson, when asked about the challenges of creating an environment to keep all pass catchers happy, he said, there is no depth chart right now. If you want to play, you got to earn it. You want to roll, you got to earn it. Later on, he goes to say, yeah, you're right. We have a lot of weapons. So how are you going to run your route when you might not be the number 1 in the progression? He's saying basically everyone's going to have to earn every target that they get. And Luther Burden was asked about this. He said, you know what? I feel like that describes me best. That's fair. If you want the ball, you got to do stuff for your teammates, right? So he's all about that. If you don't block, you don't get the rock mentality. And Luther Burden, man, he fell out of round 1, posted that image on Instagram. I think this man is a first round talent that is going to have a enormous chip on his shoulder. No one is going to be outworking Luther Burden on this team. Does that sound like a player that you want to be a part of after what Ben Johnson said his team is going to be built on? I don't know about you, but for me, it absolutely sounds like someone I want to be building on. And also, can you think of another wide receiver that dominated early in his collegiate career and then had a down year and fell in the NFL draft? Does anyone come to mind? Anyone? How about Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who started off his career incredibly well and then fell down draft boards? Where did he land? I can't remember. Oh, that's right. He landed to the Lions, and Ben Johnson turned him into a superstar. Don't fall for this whole narrative that you can get him cheaper later. Dynasty players are getting better and better and better at being patient, right? People are willing to be patient after JSN, after Michael Penix, after Ricky Pearsall, okay? We are learning more and more every single year. All right, here are some honorable mentions to end the video. 3 guys that I'm going to continue to target later on in my drafts, okay? Starting off with one, Jaden Blue. All right, I'll be honest. I'll be fully transparent. Jaden Blue was not a top 10 running back for me in my pre-draft rankings. He just wasn't, okay? But he joins a Cowboys backfield that has a ton of unknowns. There might be the most unknowns in the Cowboys backfield of any NFL backfield, okay? Jaden could very easily make an impression and make an impact there in Chicago. I have no doubt about it. I mean, you look at the difference between a round 4 and a round 5, historically, these hit rates, there's really not that much of a difference, right? Round 4, we're talking 24%. Round 5, we're talking about 19.4%. If you go to superstar status, which is the top 12 point per game season for our running backs, you'll see there's no difference at all. In fact, the round 5 running backs have hit at a higher rate. It's just a scrap at that point, okay? So definitely be targeting some Jaden Blue. Number 2, Woody Marks, a guy that I fell in love with early in the process. Then I kind of cooled off on a little bit, but the Texans saw what I saw initially, and I love it. This is genuinely the perfect landing spot for Woody. The Texans have desperately needed a running back behind Joe Mixon like Woody Marks, a guy that can handle all 3 downs if he goes down with an injury, but more specifically, a guy that can be utilized in their passing attack. My pro comp for Woody Marks coming out was Rachaad White and Marshawn Lloyd. I know Marshawn Lloyd hasn't done anything yet, but Rachaad White was my favorite comp. When the Texans are behind and they're trying to come back, it's going to be very difficult for them to keep Woody Marks off of the field, in my humble opinion. If you look at this guy, in the entire history of the Mississippi State program, he is a record holder for the most career receptions with 214, the most receiving yards by a running back with over 1,200, and the most consecutive games with a catch with 45. In his career, he has 257 receptions, guys. Sneaky 4th round pick in your Dynasty rookie drafts. All right, number 3, let's talk tight end, Terrence Ferguson. Sean McVay has been looking for a big athletic tight end for a hot minute right now. And if you look at Terrence Ferguson, he fits the bill, ladies and gentlemen, a 9.32 RAS. That ranks 92 out of 1,300 tight ends who have tested since 1987. And if you look at the historical hit rates for a round 2 tight end, 42.1%. That's a decent little hit rate right there. I mean, think about some guys recently who have gone round 2 that have made impact, like Sam Laporta, right, in 2023, and Trey McBride in 2022, who is now the highest paid tight end in league history. So do not sleep on these players. I appreciate y'all watching the video. Do me a massive favor, smash that like button to show some love. I gotta let you know that our 2025 rookie report is going to be up in hours. If you want to dominate your rookie draft, you can become a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a team playbook where we look at your Dynasty team. You'll get the rookie report. You'll get the Dynasty trade tear down tool. All right, if you want to tear down in your rookie drafts, we'll give you a tool to tell you how to do that, and so much more. I appreciate y'all watching the video. Subscribe to the content if you like it. Hit the like button, and I'll see you very soon. Nothing but love. If you're thinking about supporting us in this economy, that's big love, and you deserve love in return. So for every yearly Mother Flocker member who uses the promo code LAND, we're giving out a free team playbook, our 2025 rookie report, access to all premium tools, free site vouchers, and of course, a huge thank you from the LAND crew. You're far too kind. That's love.